Well, Dino, welcome down to Eagle Ridge, and this was a little lesson for pitching. It really is the highlight for the full swing anyway, but we're looking right here at the moment of impact. And what I'd like to share with you is the angle the shaft is coming through the ball here. You've got a high-speed camera on. So you've probably got, what have we got here? Oops, let me get rid of that little bit of stuff. We put the line up. The moment the ball is leaving, you're about 87 degrees of angle, not vertical. So it's a little forward lean, but let's see the difference. See, there's 87 versus 81, so that's
right.
And I wouldn't want to have my hands any further back than that. So that's 87 degrees. The forward lean allows you to be hitting down on the ball, compressing it, and you're getting a much better release through impact. Now, if we just watch what goes on now through the impact zone of both wrists, so we'll go through slowly. Great thing to C1 Golf software. You can see here, there's a breakdown in your left wrist to the club shaft here. So, where on this side, my left wrist is almost arched, isn't it? Take that one off of there, got a little bit out of the whack there. So, now also look at your head location versus mine. You're starting to look up. Oops, we'll go over here. You can see there's a difference between the club shaft angle here and here. My left wrist is definitely more arched than yours. Okay, head steady. So, building the impact zone, I'm going to give you a little drill that will help build a left-hand impact zone with a chip shot, and then that'll lead to this pitch shot. Okay, and if we get that going first, you'll discover how much more hip turn I have in my neck. So, good golf to hands and hips game, and it's the same with a chip and a pitch as it is with the long game. So that's what allows the shaft to forward lean and compress the ball better to impact. That's what back, up, forward press, take away, hit.
Now for the definition of what we call the moment of truth, the impact zone. Looking at this, the difference between the impact and the address position. At address, the shaft is pointing at my center of my hips. My hips, knees, feet, and shoulders are all parallel to the target line in the address position. At impact, the left hip is well turned through the ball. The left leg is straight. The shoulders have rocked up, we say, or rotated more vertically. The left shoulder high, the right shoulder low. The hands have been pushed forward at the beginning of impact. You'll notice here that the right arm is still bent, but the club face is got less loft. We say it's hooded down, and the club face is ever so slightly open at the beginning of impact. From here, the releasing action of the final part will have the club shaft moving into line with the left arm. Both wrists will have been fully uncocked. The right arm will have straightened. And in the process, we've reached the final part of the impact zone. So impact is not a split second, but with our Croker Golf system, we've actually been able to give you an expansion of the impact zone. So you'll be able to hit the ball more consistently long with more compression. Building this as a drill, there's address, there's the beginning of the word impact, the uncocking action and the straightening of the right arm gives us the expansion or extension, and this is the final area of the word impact. In this stage, the club face is square to the target line, The club shaft is fully in line with the left arm. Both arms are straight. The shoulders are parallel to the target line. The hips are well and truly turned open, and the weight is heavy in both feet. Left leg straight. And this gives you a complete definition of the word impact. A lot of people have a problem hitting their 2-iron, but this is a great time to use your 2-iron to get comfortable, and it helps you build the impact feeling as opposed to a more lofted club. So using my 2-iron, go down the grip. Being a longer shaft, I can also get the feeling of when the club shaft moves into line with the left arm. So address position, just feeling the difference between the address position and the beginning of impact position. Address, beginning of impact. And when I've got that position comfortable, I can then expand by uncocking the wrists and straightening the right arm. So from here, address, beginning of impact, end of impact. Drilling this in till your head is comfortably steady and you get full expansion is very valuable in the full swing, so that you get a very full expansion through the impact zone. There's no quitting. Tap, tap, tap. Forward press, take away, get hit. Now that was a super chip. I made good contact, the ball went exactly where I was aiming, and I was in control of the distance. Now, over the next series of newsletters, we're going to present to you the simple fundamentals that help us make up that chip shot. That's the entrance point to learning all about building a full swing. It's ideal if we start building it from the smallest of chip shots to the pitch to the full swing. So in this tip today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to how we grip the club in the left hand. And I've marked my hand up so you can see that the grip of the club runs across the hand, very much in the roots of the fingers, from the first knuckle joint of the little finger to the second knuckle joint of the index finger. Never above this point, but very much down there, so it's in the roots of the fingers. For a chip shot, I don't need the full length, so I've got more control in the club when I go down here. When I grip the club properly in the fingers, if I turn around this way, you'll notice that the wrist, my left wrist, if I put a hinge pin through there, it would go straight down through the top of the grip. My left thumb is just back of center and it's in a short position. This is very valuable to protect the hand and give me more control of the club, so that when I uncock the wrist through the impact zone, and this is uncocking the wrist, what it will do, it will bring into line the club shaft with the lead arm. And this is the important part when you're making contact with the shot. You want to be contacting the ball not only with a descending blow, but with the club shaft leaning forward as you do. Now this will naturally occur if you learn to do this drill and build control in the left hand. So the first exercise we're going to come to grips with, literally, 1, gripping in the club with the left hand. Number 2, leaning a little bit forward. What we want to do is we want to learn to hit the ball so the club shaft goes into line this way with the left forearm. There's none of this through the ball. And it's very simple. If the thumb goes down, the club shaft naturally wants to go into line there. So as a first drill, just address position, Go to the impact position where I'm a little bit open with the hips, shoulders have gone down a little bit, hands a little bit further forward. From here, just learning to do that movement. You can do this on the carpet at home. It's a very good place to learn this. You don't learn it out in the driving range, but here, from here, once I can do that consistently, then what I need to do is make a little swing and finish in that position. This will be tip number 1, learning to control the club with the left hand. And there's the ball, just lipped out. So, tip number 1 in the step-by-step Key to Golf program. Well, there you have another solid chip and run shot. Now, looking at it from the front-on view, what we're wanting to learn first is to look at the action of the left hand from this view, because so many times we see golfers either chicken winging or breaking down the wrist through impact. What's important here is we look at the left hand action from the front-on view. Basically, here we are set up at address, shoulders parallel, hips, knees and feet parallel to where we want to go. The address position, the beginning of impact will have the hips well and truly cleared. The shoulders will have rocked, the right shoulder down, the left shoulder up, and the shoulder line would stay parallel to the target line. You do not want the shoulders to go around through the impact zone. So, in building the chip shot, you're going to really build the foundation for your full swing. So here I am at address. Just going to work the left hand only. I'm going to use the right hand on the side as a support, stabilizer. But I'm going to really work on my left hand in this tip number 3, the step-by-step Key to Golf program newsletter. There's address. There's the beginning of impact. Now what I want to do is I want to thumbs down, and as they go down, the shaft goes into line with the left arm and the left shoulder will rise a little higher. Looking at alongside of the ball, there's address, beginning of impact, the end of impact. As it does so, there'll be a slight closing of the club face. There won't be any holding the club face square. There'll be a natural rotation. Very small, but there will be a rotation through the impact zone. Once I can do it without a ball, introducing the ball. Beginning of impact, end of impact. And once I can do that with a ball, without a ball, now I can make a little backswing and learn to hit the ball with the one hand, building a really educated left hand action for building the chip shot. Posture, leaning forward. What you'll notice here is how much the hip clears. Demonstrate that one more time. Really notice that the club does not move backwards or forwards unless it's through the pivot of the hips. And especially through impact, it's so important that the left side clears, otherwise you'll hit behind the ball or you'll start to get handsy through the shot. Good contact, stable, inline structure. very important in building the impact for a chip shot and in turn for the pitch and the full swing.